How come I haven't met Uncle John?
We haven't been able to visit him since you were a baby. He's the one that found you for us.
Found me where? I want to know the truth.
Heather, I owe you a story.
John had been a suspect in 4 murders.
I don't know what you think you're gonna find here.
You did something to those women.
I made some mistakes in my life.
Getting the shocking truth. A teenager's life forever changed when she discovers that her uncle isn't the sweet guy she thought he was. Kidnapped by a killer is a true crime story based on the life of Heather Robinson. She was abducted as a baby, raised by the family of a serial killer, and that serial killer is played by Steve Guttenberg.
I mean, that's as good of a storyline as it gets. And he's joining us this morning to talk about this twisted story. Steve, thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me on, ladies.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. Okay, so this role, everyone's asking, what made you take something like this? Because we really haven't seen you in a role like this before.
It's an extraordinary opportunity. You know, many times that as an actor, you are cast with the easy equipment that you have, which is mine, you know, a lot of times is comedy. But I'm an actor and I'm a trained actor. And the idea to do something that I'm usually not offered is something that I couldn't pass up. And I was so really glad to be part of this production. The director and producer and the entire production was just grade A. And I had a terrific time playing such a heinous person who's actually, this is actually a true story.
Yeah. I mean, you just said playing that heinous person. So, I mean, I want to know what goes on in your head preparing for this, because how do the actors, how does the production crew work to create that authenticity when telling a true story like this?
Everybody does as much research as they can, and there was an extraordinary amount of copious research done on this. I myself spent days and days, weeks actually, preparing for it. And I would do as much research as I could, and then I would have to put it down. It was, you know, just hearing about John Robinson's crimes and how he lived his life was thoroughly disgusting. So after about 2 hours of studying, I had to put the books down and the tapes and all the videos I watched. And then we created our own version of John, and I think it really worked. The movie is a terrific movie, and I'm so proud of my work in it. I was able to craft and come up another whole, which is most important is what you want to do with is disappear into a role so people can't see who they've seen before in other parts. And I hope I did it.
Unrecognizable.
Looks like you did. I know. This is going to be a good one. All right. We should say, Steve, that you're joining us by Zoom. We understand you're temporarily living in New York after the Palisades Fire. I understand your home is still standing, but we saw you helping neighbors and people in the area. We want to know how you're doing in regards to that, and how are your neighbors?
I'm doing great. I'm a very blessed person. At the very beginning of the fire, I was having a cup of coffee on Tuesday morning, and I looked up and I saw smoke that I'd never seen before, as big as Godzilla. I got in my car and I drove towards Sunset. Traffic was backed up. I had to park on a side street. I ran over to Palisades Drive, and that's where I saw the fire starting. And before you knew it, because of the wind, it was coming down Palisades Drive. The police and the firemen told everybody to abandon their cars. And I saw that the emergency vehicles couldn't get through, so I just started parking cars. And before I knew it, I stayed for 7 days in the Palisades. 6 nights, there was no water, there was no heat. And me and a few neighbors, I think we really saved a few homes in our area.
Yeah, you went through so much, and so many people went through so much trauma. I mean, we were right there on the front lines, too, with you and seeing it unfold. You have a new life goal. I mean, you came out of this, and talk about some of the goals. We heard your first activity was a spin class?
Yeah, well, you know, right after the fire, I didn't, I'm a big exercise freak, and I didn't work out for months. So yeah, when I got back here to New York, I started taking a spin class and going back into my exercise. But I do want to talk about the fire a little bit, the devastation and how it changed so many lives. There are maybe 50,000 people who've been displaced. There are, between the Altadena fire in Pasadena, there are probably 13 or 14,000 structures that were burned to the ground. So there's so much to be done. But as a community, we need to come together. We need to help each other. We need to support each other, and also think about our mental health. Because when everything is destroyed in your town, it's a really big adjustment. So I think everybody's got to be kinder than usual, softer than usual, and more helpful than usual. And when there's danger, and if you're able to, run toward that danger, not run away.
Absolutely, and what a beautiful message. We're covering all those issues on KCAL News every single day, the PTSD, anxiety, depression people are dealing with. We're glad to see you doing well. Thank you so much for joining us, Steve.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate being here. And please, if everybody gets a chance on June 7th, see our movie, The Heather Robinson Story, on Lifetime.
Kidnapped by a killer. Thank you so much for using your platform also with that inspiring and great message. Yeah. All right, thank you so much for joining us.